Hello, everybody. It's nice to be back for our next victim in the interview chair. Today we have Nick Ortiz, who's agreed to do an interview here to let you guys know a little bit about what our Pullum Center students are up to. So, Nick, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So, I want to start off, we're going to cut right to the chase. Tell me a little bit about your saxophone journey.
Well, I started playing saxophone in 6th grade, middle school, at Davis Elementary School. Davis Middle School. And I started on alto initially, and then in 7th grade, I wanted to try out the tenor. And so once I got on tenor, honestly, I didn't really like it, but he didn't let me switch back to alto because I guess he just needed somebody on tenor.
Yeah.
And then so I did that until I got to high school, and then when I got to high school, I tried switching back to alto, but all the altos were broken. So I just so I ended up needing a tenor, and then I stayed on tenor up until I think 10th grade. I actually started liking it, and then I was like, I'm gonna just stay on tenor.
Yeah. What changed? What changed there?
I don't know. I just started kind of just liking how it sounded and liking the kind of music I got with it. And then once I started coming over here to the Pullum Center, I just definitely liked it way more like when I started playing jazz and stuff. I started playing jazz, I want to say like my 10th grade year in high school. I had just heard there was a jazz band, and I was like that's crazy, you know? I was like, I need to get in that. So I told my friend at the moment who was on tenor with me, I'm like, can you ask the teacher, if I could be in there or whatever? And then eventually I got in a jazz band, and I was practicing with them. And then we were at a performance, and at this performance, one of Pullum's former students, Keisha Potter, had saw us play, me, Michael, and Jonte, the other two musicians that are here in the band. And then she asked us if we wanted to play music with Mr. Pullum. The way she said it, she was like, I know somebody who's looking for young musicians to come play, and then eventually you'll go on trips and stuff like that. And then we're down to do it. So once we started coming over here, that's when I started seeing Chris and Ronnie, how good they are.
Yeah.
And then I was like, damn, that's so good. I could be like that, That's when I really started realizing that I could be better than where I was at. I didn't know somebody that's around my age could be that good. So that's when I really started putting work into my saxophone, and I really started loving the tenor, the sound that I could get out of it and stuff like that. And I started really getting into playing music, playing jazz music.
Yeah. So it's kind of a progression just through like middle school, switching to tenor, kind of liking it, and then ending up at the Pullum Center.
Yeah. I started feeling like I might not have been supposed to play alto, something kept getting in my way. So it was like, maybe I'm meant to play tenor.
Yeah.
So I just stayed there.
That's interesting though, because do you ever still feel that desire to go back to the alto?
Not anymore. No, because it got to a certain point where I just really love the tenor now. And recently I did play alto. I had to play it for a gig, and I did love it, and I love playing on it. But at the end of the day, I'm just I really love playing tenor, and I would rather just stay on tenor.
Yeah.
Maybe alto on the side, but I don't like it as much as I like tenor.
Yeah. It's not too different an instrument, right? So it's always something that you can have in your back pocket if you need it. Right, yeah. Well, that's cool. And so, tell me, so it sounds like when you got to the Pullum Center, it was like some of the other musicians were really a driving force behind your work.
Yeah. Chris, we call him Big Chris.
Yeah.
He's really the one that inspired me, dude, to become a professional musician.
Yeah.
That was when I saw him playing so well, that's when I realized that that's when I just thought about something like that being achievable.
Yeah.
Until that point, I didn't think there were like people my age that were like that good at playing saxophone. So it was just like, it really blew my mind.
What specifically was it though, like that really inspired you, from either Chris or Ronnie?
I think it was just how good they were. I've just never heard anybody like that in person around my age.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just didn't think that was possible. Once I heard them play, it like opened my mind. Like, then that's when I got to like a point where I started wanting to practice a lot more, and so I could get to that point and stuff like that. And just seeing them just being able to do it, you know, that really inspired me.
When you get like, there's a bar that I think young musicians, if they make it to that bar, it's like, because it's not fun to practice when you're not very good, but once you hit that bar of it actually getting fun, then that's when things really happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So, but that's cool though. And so what is your goal as a saxophone player?
I think eventually I would like to become a professional musician, professional saxophone player. I would also like to be, basically a professional saxophone player. That's my goal as a musician.
Yeah. When you say that, what do you mean? Like as a performer,
Yes, a professional tenor saxophone jazz player, like a jazz performer.
Yeah.
That's my goal. I have
playing the clubs, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, since my goal before, I guess, was to play at the Hollywood Bowl. Like that was like my goal. I was like, I want to eventually get there.
Yeah.
But that was back when I went to the Hollywood Bowl for the first time with Pullum, because he took us over there. And that was when I said, like, that's where I want to get to.
Yeah.
But then the more and more that I've like dove into music and been around multiple musicians and stuff, I realized that like that is a goal that I want to do. I want to play at the Hollywood Bowl, but then that's not like the extent of, that's not like the...
not the end of the road.
Yeah, exactly. That's not the end of the road.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more places that I want to play now, you know?
Sure. The Hollywood Bowl is a good goal, though.
Yeah,
I know
definitely.
Pullum's been talking about it, too. We'll see if we get there, but that would be cool. There you go, people online. Help us get to the Hollywood Bowl. There's our goal right there. But no, that's cool. That's cool. And so, who has inspired you in your musical journey? Whether it's like the pros or people close to you?
Definitely Ronnie has inspired me, because that guy's just crazy. Pullum has inspired me.
In what way?
Well, because I also want to be like a music teacher as well. So seeing him do all this stuff, you know, do a community center and all that and help everybody. And then also all of the things that he has done, all the people he has played with as well, that has also inspired me to, you know, I want to get to that point eventually, to the point where he is, where he can do all the things that he does and help all of us the way that he does.
Yeah.
You know, taking us to the Hollywood Bowl and getting us food to eat sometimes, you know, all that stuff that he does for us.
Yeah.
That's really inspiring, and I would love to get to that point so that I could also do that for other people.
Right. So that kind of like community work is interesting to you.
Yeah, definitely. Just helping people, you know?
Yeah. Cool. How did, I'm going to come back to your inspirations in a minute, but I want to kind of go down this road with Pullum for a minute. So you mentioned that one of his students connected you guys. Yeah. And what happened from there? Like, how did that relationship develop?
So there was a performance that was coming up in high school. I believe I was in like 11th grade.
Yeah.
And this was our first performance that we were going to do with no band director, no instructor.
Okay.
So Mr. C handpicked, I believe, one player from each section. It ended up being me on tenor, John Tay on alto saxophone, Michael on trombone, and then one of the other kids on trumpet who went to the school, and then the rhythm section. And so we had like songs we were gonna play, we were practicing from, and we were all excited because it was gonna be our first kind of like combo kind of gig, because previously we were a big band.
Yep.
So, and it was gonna be us by ourselves, so it was really exciting. So we get there, and we're performing, and we didn't know her at the time, but Keisha Potter was in the audience, and I believe we were playing with her husband, who is a piano player.
Yeah.
And then she had like jumped in for a song. We were playing Jamming with Charlie, one of the books off, one of the songs out of the, like a beginner jazz book.
Yeah.
And then she just got on the song and just killed it, like did a really good solo. We were all like amazed. We're like, she was just sitting in the audience, like, where did she come from,
Yeah.
And then after, that's when she started talking to us, and she was like, she mentioned Pullum, how he was looking for students, and then that's when we ended up coming over here to check it out.
Yep.
We came on one of the days where there wasn't practice going on, but he still showed up because he accidentally didn't tell us there was practice going on. But he still showed up, and he talked to us a little bit, kind of see where we were at, what do we want to do with it. And I remember walking into this building. This was before like the renovations and stuff, a really long time ago. And then I was thinking like this crazy, like this kind of beat up building, like the floor creaking and stuff. We started talking to Pullum, and then he was like, well, come next practice, see how you feel about it. And then we came to the next practice, and that was when, we were all blown away by how the band sounded.
Yeah.
That was when I first heard Chris, and then that was when I first, I was like, I could do this. I could become that good, and then I can probably eventually become a professional musician.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was really cool. I remember the song was Red Clay.
It's the Red Clay.
Yeah,
what
dude.
a classic.
And he was like the first soloist, and he started. I'm like, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's when I knew. I was like, I gotta stay here. I gotta practice with them, and just so I could get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah. And so when would that have been? Like what year?
I believe that was my junior year of high school. I don't know exactly the year. It probably would have been like 2016 or something.
So like almost 6 years, hey?
Yeah.
Come a long way in that time?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Before that, I was like so nervous to solo and stuff. Mr. C, my band director at Centennial, would always like tell us like, solo, and we were like always nervous about it.
Yeah.
Once we started coming here though, the more and more we started playing, eventually Pullum would point at us for a solo, and we wouldn't be nervous about it. We just get up and start soloing.
Just do it. Yeah.
And so.
Pullum always says that people, they're terrible.
Yeah, definitely we were, man.
And then,
basically just never took a solo ever.
Yeah.
Until we got over here. He really took us out of our shell.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. And so let's kind of dive back to your inspirations for a minute. Maybe looking outside of the center world, for who's inspired you on your musical journey?
I have a teacher right now, Teodros Avery. He's really inspired me. Just seeing how he plays. Yeah. He's like so good at playing in all different types of styles. Yeah. And I listen to him play these different types of styles, and it sounds like he's it sounds like he's been playing those. He sounds like he's supposed to be in those styles. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like really cool, and I'm like, that makes me really want to get to that point. Yep.
Is there a style that is like, man, if I could play that, that would be amazing?
Probably, like my favorite styles are probably along the lines of like a kind of blues kind of style.
Like old style blues, like.
Yeah, like an old style kind of blues, or like a hip hop jazz kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like Roy Hargrove stuff.
Yeah. Roy Hargrove.
Around those areas. I really like how it feels, you know, when you play that kind of music and when you hear that kind of music. Yeah. I really want to get. That would probably be like my favorite style to really try to. Yeah. Play really good.
Yeah. So is like hip hop also been, because you talked a lot about jazz, right? Has hip hop also been part of your development?
Yeah, definitely. Hip hop. I kind of grew up on hip hop. That was pretty much the only thing I listened to growing up.
Sure.
My dad, he would play a lot of hip hop, mostly my family too, on my mom's side. And I didn't really get exposed to jazz until I started playing it in high school.
Right. Yeah.
And then once I came over here to the Pullum Center, I got exposed even more. Yeah. Because at the high school, we were just basically playing out of the book and stuff. Yeah. At the Pullum Center, you know, he was doing a lot more funk and stuff, which was like I love that kind of music. Yeah. So it was a lot more fun, and I really started. It opened my ears, you know, to more jazz. But I did kind of just grow up on hip hop mostly.
So expanding your horizons a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So pretty much all I've been listening to is just hip hop and jazz. Yeah. So that's where and then I found out that they had hip hop jazz, and then so I was like, that's super cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's one heck of a genre. And you got a lot of local artists doing that too, like that. You don't have to look far for hip hop jazz, right? Who are some of your favorite artists?
Just in general, I would say Roy Hargrove is really cool. Mm-hmm. I really like Dexter Gordon. I would say he's like my favorite saxophone player. Yep. I've been listening to a lot of Sonny Rollins recently. Kamasi Washington is really cool. I guess on the hip hop side of things, Tupac. I grew up on Tupac, so he's like my favorite rapper. I really love Kendrick, dude. All the stuff he does is just crazy. J. Cole, them too. Yeah, man, there's a lot of people I like listening to, but amongst my favorite, I would say around those. Yeah. Those guys.
Yep. Well, that's cool. And so like, if you had the opportunity to make like an album, right? This was like the Nick album. What vibe would it have?
Definitely like a hip hop jazz kind of thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, I don't know if you've listened to Roy Hargrove's RH Factor, but the kind of songs on those, I would say I love that kind of stuff. So it'll definitely be somewhere around there, you know? Like a cool, chill vibe, hip hop, and then instruments in there too. So definitely something around that.
Would you do vocals on that, or would it just be?
I'm not sure if I do vocals. I mean, yeah, if I get the opportunity to work with somebody who's a singer and stuff, I would definitely love to do a few songs with vocalists.
Nick the vocalist isn't happening anytime soon?
I don't think so, man. Honestly, I've always wanted to sing, but I have a horrible voice, so I just never do it.
You just gotta find it, man, and it's, dig deep, but.
Yeah, it's just tough, man, singing.
Yeah. That's cool though. And so, where are you at in life right now with regards to your development?
Right now I'm still, practicing, trying to get better every day. Yeah. I feel like I can start making music now. I just haven't gotten around to it. Yeah. But I feel like I'm on a steady path to become a great musician, Just practicing and stuff. That's pretty much where I'm at right now.
That's a good attitude. But to be clear, you're in college right now.
Yes, I'm in college.
And where are you at?
This is my 4th year in college. Yeah. I started music a little bit late. I started basically a year late because I kind of got messed up with my classes, and I didn't know that they were on rounds and stuff. So I tried to join my second semester, and the music classes had already passed, so I had to wait till the next year. So I still got a year ahead of me, but right now, fourth year in college, I've been practicing. I've been getting a lot better. When I first got there, man, I was like, same thing like when I got over here, you know, I was horrible. But then I feel like I've made some pretty big strides in the last few years.
Well, yeah, I mean, you put the work in, and that's kind of what happens, right?
Yeah.
Just you develop. And so as we kind of end this conversation, I want to ask, so like, how has your music like influenced other aspects of your life?
Me being a musician and stuff is basically just influenced my, well, definitely my schooling, because, you know, I went into college as a music performer initially. I was always going to become a music educator, and that was another thing too. Like, being in music, I realized that just going through it and watching my band directors, you know, teach the class, Mr. C from high school, and then Pullum here at the Pullum Center. I realized that eventually I want to get there as well. I just love just thinking about me being able to teach like a band. So just me being into music, being a musician has, I would say, influenced my life to become, now I want to become a music teacher. I'm going to school for music education now. It's definitely, you know, helped me meet a lot of cool people. You know, pretty much every musician that I've met has been like really cool. All musicians are just, you know, nice. Everybody's like just loves music, so I would say, yeah, just I've got to see cool places, you know, playing gigs and stuff, and just being in music, I feel like it's made me like a, you know, like a mellow guy now, you know, just
As opposed to?
Yeah, just before high school, you know. Yeah, definitely.
Well, what else do you do outside of music? Like, what is, you know, when you put the saxophone away at the end of the day, what keeps you busy? The answer can be nothing. It's okay.
I mean, besides homework, you know, school stuff. I love hanging out with just my friends and my family. So if I'm not doing music, you know, over there just doing stuff with my friends, or I'll go do stuff with my uncles, play sports, basketball and stuff. Some of the other Pullum students, you know, will sometimes go play basketball. But I love playing sports, so it'd be like sports or just hanging out, you know, going places and stuff.
But it sounds like family is pretty important to you.
Yeah, definitely. It's different when I'm around my family, you know. It feels real nice, and I feel at home and stuff, you know. It's like when I put the instrument down, I'm not really talking about music over there. I'm not a musician, you know. Over there, we're just, you know, having fun and stuff. And so it's a cool little, like a release in a way. You know?
Yeah. Somewhere you can go when you need to.
Definitely.
Cool. So, Nick, as we wrap this up, I want to ask for some recommendations from you. Who do people need to be listening to nowadays?
I would say Roy Hargrove, man. If you haven't heard of him, you know, you really do gotta go listen. For
specific record from him.
Forget Regret. This is what it's called. Forget Regret. Featuring Stephanie McKay. That's a really dope song, dude. You should definitely listen to that one. Another one would be, I've been listening to On the Sunny Side of the Street.
Sonny Rollins?
It's Dizzy Gillespie, Sonny Stitt, and Sonny Rollins. They have, that whole album actually is a really good album. It's basically a trumpet and two saxophones, but that song's really cool, especially now with all the COVID stuff. You know, it's talk about kind of looking at the sunny side of the street, you know, the bright side of life. It's a really nice sounding song. And Dizzy Gillespie, you know, with the vocals towards the end is pretty cool too.
Cool.
Another song. Recently, I found a cool song called, what was it called? I forgot.
It's okay.
Salsa music. I've been listening to a lot of salsa. There's a song called La Rueda by Frankie Ruiz.
Cool.
That's a really dope song, dude. It has a piano solo in there that has like crazy like chromatic stuff, and it's just it's really nice.
Do you dance?
I do not dance. Well, I do dance, but not very good. But I get into it, you know.
Yeah.
Do the best that I could do.
There you go.
That music, man, salsa music just makes you want to dance too. So you got to.
Absolutely does. Yeah, it's hard to stay still when that stuff comes on.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And to everybody watching, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.